Oh, hi. I'm Josh Maloney, the supplemental instructor for Professor Etter's Intro to Environmental Science at Cape Cod Community College. In this video tutorial, I will show you how to download and use Screencast-O-Matic, a screen and audio recording app I have used as a student. Then, I will show you exactly how to record a presentation with audio on a tablet or phone. So if you are watching in the background, I just Googled Screencast-O-Matic, then I clicked the link that went to the site. When there, I scrolled through until I found the link to the App Store. Next, I downloaded the Screencast-O-Matic app and opened it. You can use this app on most devices to include Apple, Android, and PC. Right now, my voice is being recorded on a standalone microphone connected to my PC. But for my presentation, I used my iPad for everything and uploaded it into a tutorial as a video. I did not have a script when I presented this, just some notes, and I presented it as you can present yours. I uploaded my full presentation to YouTube that I recorded from my PC. It covered a lot, and it was a lot more rehearsed and edited.
My topic is the threats to Massachusetts forest tree.
This video, I wanted to show you that the requirements for the assignment could be met using a phone or tablet and just having some notes. So, here we go. Hi, I'm Joshua Maloney, and this is my big presentation for ENV 118, Intro to Environmental Science at Cape Cod Community College. My presentation is the threats to Massachusetts forest trees. On the left, we can see the agricultural rich map of Massachusetts. Here is my thesis. Trees in the forest, both past and present, have naturally sustained life and people locally and across the globe. So what I'm going to talk about in this presentation is what our forests have consisted of, what post-settlement problems Massachusetts has overcome, and I'm also going to talk about what problems we face today maintaining local sustainable forests. So what have our forests consisted of? According to the diagram on the left, it shows the vegetation changes throughout time, and these are very typical of sites across New England. Many of the early descriptions of New England weren't very flattering. The first description of Cape Cod was actually by Samuel de Champlain, and he called it Cape Blanc because of how it looked to him. The Pilgrims described it very differently, but they were coming from the order of scarce English forests, and they had also been at sea for months, so they explained the land much differently. So what are some post-settlement problems our forest has overcome? Natural disasters, and often humans play unknowing accomplices to many of these disasters. Invasive pests and human deforestation. Natural disasters. On the left is a local example of a photo that I took of a tree that blew down in 2019 in Barnstable. I believe that was a hickory tree. In 1938, we also have a photograph of the damage from the 1938 hurricane. This hurricane was the most destructive hurricane in Massachusetts history. When nearly 30 million board feet of timber were blown down during the 1938 hurricane, we created the most dangerous threat of all, from the threat of fire. Early fire methods focused on suppression rather than prevention. But an early 1920 survey between a bunch of different organizations on Cape Cod found that prevention is much cheaper than suppression. The Pilgrims lacked wheeled vehicles and draft animals until 1921, and without a sawmill, the Pilgrims had to undertake a lot of the clearing by hand, so it was very slow at first. But unlike the Native Americans, the colonists were capable of harvesting much larger trees, and the English tradition of joining also made it possible for smaller dimensioned materials to be used. The photo on the left is a photo of the rock wall in West Barnstable Conservation Area. These rock walls probably account for the scarcity of wood at the time that they were built. Another threat to Massachusetts forests have been pests. A long-term pest has been the gypsy moth, introduced in 1868 by visiting Harvard University Dr. Leopold Trevaux. He was a visiting astronomy instructor trying to create a new subspecies of silkworm that would live in New England. His idea was to crossbreed the Asian silk moth with the hardy European gypsy moth. Unfortunately, a number of moths escaped, and Trevaux's warning of their potential danger went unheeded. In 1889, the Massachusetts gypsy moth population reached alarming proportions, and in 1890, legislature directed action. Unfortunately, we still have gypsy moth problems to this day. Despite massive efforts to control the gypsy moth population, by 1922, they spread to every city and town in Massachusetts and have remained a major threat to forest health in the state. See some of the damage to oak trees on the left. Early removal methods were physically labor-intensive and required the physical removing. See the people in trees on the right. Massachusetts' response to insects has not been the greatest. The introduction of sprayers mounted on motor trucks in 1911 made spraying with lead arsenate pesticides and applying creosote to egg masses the control method of choice. At the time, it was said to be beneficial to the crop and detrimental to the insects. 1948 was the first large-scale application of DDT when 7,000 acres on Lower Cape Cod was sprayed. The following year, 250,000 acres were sprayed on Cape Cod. So moving forward, what problems do we still face today maintaining local sustainable forests? It's likely that we are going to continue to face similar problems such as forest cutting practices, insects, and storms. Also, let's take a look at this photo and always remember safety first. So what keeps the pest away? Was it the DDT, lead arsenate, or the creosote? No, not really. It was none of those things. It turns out that it's actually more natural predators, whether it be viruses, diseases, or fungi. Gypsy moths still pose significant threats. Here is a photo and a map of the 2017 gypsy moth defoliation at the Quabbin Reservoir in western Mass. So what happened to this 190-year-old deforested Massachusetts? It turns out that Massachusetts has done a really good job at regreening itself. So in conclusion, our forests are in better condition than they have been in the past several hundred years. We will likely face similar problems again, such as profit-driven deforestation, whether it be for the wood itself or for development, natural disasters, which are often assisted by human interference, and introduced pests. Have we learned that the lesser of two evils isn't the way to solve problems? It often causes other problems. DDT turned out not to be the panacea chemical we thought it was. Thank you. Okay, so now the presentation is done. I open the Screencast-O-Matic app and save it as a video. Sometimes we need to practice and do it more than once. This project isn't solely based on our presentation skills. It's more on the slides, content, and our investigation into our subject. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you got something out of it. Take a peek at my video showing my presentation. Good luck with yours.